In the vast tapestry of Norse mythology, where gods wage eternal wars and giants threaten the cosmic order, there exists a figure whose power lies not in strength of arms or magical might, but in the preservation of divine vitality itself. This is the story of Idun, the keeper of immortality, whose golden apples sustained the gods and whose kidnapping nearly brought ruin to Asgard. Idun, whose name may be translated as the rejuvenating one or ever young, held perhaps the most crucial responsibility in all of Asgard, maintaining the immortality of the gods themselves. Unlike the Greek ambrosia or the Chinese peaches of immortality, the Norse gods required regular consumption of magical apples to maintain their youth and vigor. Without these fruits, even the mighty Odin would succumb to the ravages of time. This unique aspect of Norse mythology reveals a fascinating vulnerability in their pantheon. The gods were not inherently immortal. Their eternal youth was sustained through Idun's careful guardianship of these precious fruits. This dependency on external means for immortality adds a layer of complexity to the Norse cosmic order, suggesting that even divine power has its limitations and requirements. The nature of Idun's apples remains one of mythology's most intriguing mysteries. Unlike ordinary fruit, these apples possess the power to halt and reverse the aging process. Some scholars suggest they may have been inspired by the rare golden apples that occasionally grew in the harsh Nordic climate, their scarcity making them seem magical to ancient peoples. The apples were kept in an ashwood box, symbolizing their connection to Yggdrasil, the world tree. This connection suggests a deeper cosmic significance. Perhaps the apples represented the very essence of life that flowed through the nine worlds. Their power wasn't simply magical, but fundamental to the universe's operation. The story of Idun's kidnapping begins with what seems like a simple journey. Three of the Esser gods, Odin, the All-Father, Loki, the trickster, and Hunir, the silent god, embarked on an expedition that took them far from the safety of Asgard. Their journey into the mountains serves as a reminder that even gods could find themselves vulnerable when far from their seat of power. The desolate mountain setting of their encounter with Þjazi is significant. In Norse mythology, mountains often represented the boundary between the ordered world of the gods and the chaotic realm of the giants. By venturing into this liminal space, the gods exposed themselves to dangers they might not face in Asgard. Þjazi's appearance as an eagle was no random choice. Eagles in Norse mythology often represented power and wisdom, but they could also symbolize greed and predatory nature. The giant's ability to prevent the meat from cooking demonstrated his control over natural forces, a power that rivaled that of the gods themselves. The interaction between Loki and Þjazi reveals much about both characters. Loki's impulsive attack on the eagle, using a branch as a weapon, showcases his quick temper and poor judgment. Þjazi's response, using Loki's own aggression against him, demonstrates the giant's cunning and foresight. He had likely planned this encounter, knowing that Loki's nature would make him an ideal tool for kidnapping Idun. Loki's method of luring Idun from Asgard speaks to the goddess's trusting nature, but also to her deep connection with her role. The promise of other magical fruits that might rival or surpass her own would naturally interest someone so dedicated to maintaining divine youth. This detail suggests that Idun took her responsibilities seriously and was always seeking ways to better serve her fellow gods. The location chosen for the deception, a forest beyond Asgard's walls, is symbolically significant. Forests in Norse mythology often represented places of transformation and danger. By leaving the protection of Asgard's walls, Idun became vulnerable to forces that normally couldn't reach her. The description of Thrymheim, or Thunder Home, provides insight into the Norse conception of the giant's realm. Situated in the highest mountain peaks, its icy towers looming over fertile fields below, the fortress represented the harsh, untamed aspects of nature that the giants embodied. The contrast between the barren heights and fertile lowlands symbolized the eternal conflict between giants and gods, chaos versus order, destruction versus creation. The gods' rapid aging in Idun's absence reveals much about the Norse view of divinity. Unlike other mythological traditions where gods are naturally immortal, Norse deities required regular renewal of their divine nature. This vulnerability made them more relatable to human worshippers, while also emphasizing the precious nature of youth and vitality. The physical descriptions of the gods' aging, wrinkled skin, graying hair, waning vigor, parallel human aging with striking similarity. This detail suggests that the Norse saw their gods as elevated beings who nevertheless shared certain fundamental characteristics with humans. The method of Idunn's rescue involves several significant elements. Freyja's falcon cloak, which granted the power of transformation, represents the importance of shape-shifting in Norse mythology. The ability to change form was seen as one of the highest forms of magic, usually associated with gods and the most powerful beings. Loki's transformation of Idunn into a nut for easier transport shows both his quick thinking and the malleable nature of form in Norse mythology. This detail suggests that divine beings could alter not only their own shape, but the shapes of others as well. The climactic chase sequence, with Þjazi pursuing Loki back to Asgard, represents more than just exciting storytelling. The thunderous beating of the giant's wings recalls Norse associations between giants and natural forces. The gods' collective action in building and lighting the fire barrier demonstrates their strength when working together, contrasting with their vulnerability when divided. The tale of Idunn's kidnapping and rescue carries several important themes that resonated with Norse audiences. The story emphasizes that even divine immortality comes at a cost and requires maintenance. This might have reflected Norse beliefs about the importance of constant vigilance in maintaining one's position and power. The gods' cooperation in rescuing Idunn and defeating Þjazi demonstrates the Norse value of collective action and mutual support. Loki's role in both causing and resolving the crisis speaks to the complex nature of trust and betrayal in Norse society. The story reinforces the importance of maintaining proper boundaries, both physical and social, as crossing them often leads to danger. The tale of Idunn represents more than just a simple kidnapping story. It speaks to fundamental human concerns about aging, immortality, trust, and the price of power. Through her role as keeper of divine youth, Idunn embodies both the promise and precarity of immortality itself.